What's up, everybody? I know I haven't done one of these videos in about a month. Just haven't really had time. This is the new location. I'm going to be probably doing most of my videos at. It's the undisclosed top secret area that I do security at. That's all I can say. Shout out to my boss for giving me permission to do my videos here. He's the coolest rich dude I know. And like I've said before, I do these videos for fun. Not making any money off of it yet, but I hope to change that. One day, hopefully. I did add a donation button to my channel, so for people out there that enjoy these videos and want to help a homie out, feel free to help a homie out. Make that donation. Whatever you can give would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe to my channel, and let people know about it. So this is going to be another prison story. This is actually a funny one from when I worked at Corrections Corporation of America, or Crooked Corporation of America, as the inmates, and some of us COs even like to call it. I won't go into the why right now, maybe in another video, but I'll just say, trust me, that nickname was well earned. So I'm going to tell this story as accurately to my knowledge, and certain parts, were filled in to me by other COs that, witnessed it or were part of it. But anyway, there was these two COs that got into it pretty bad, almost came to blows at work. And this kind of stuff actually happened a lot. As you can imagine, it's a pretty stressful environment. COs got into it all the time. So one of these COs I was really cool with, actually, when I was on graveyard shift. His initials are DG, or we can call him Fat Burrito, as some of the inmates called him. I think it was mostly only the Hawaiian inmates that called him that. But anyway, this dude was short and dark complected, kind of stocky, kind of thick, like myself. And he was a pretty cocky little dude too. But he was hella cool. And, he was fun to work with, but kind of a real smart ass. And I had to check him quite a few times for starting stuff with inmates. What we like to call kickstarting. He kind of expected me to come, bail him out sometimes and punk out inmates for him, or basically finish off what he started. So I had to explain to him, hey, if you start it, you're gonna end it. You're gonna handle that shit yourself. But overall, he was a pretty cool dude, just a little mature. But so this other CO, he was a white dude. We're just gonna call him M. That's the first initial in his last name. And don't get me wrong. There was some very cool white COs there too. Actually, the CO that I was most cool with there was a white dude that I've talked about in other videos. His initials are DW. And some of the people that watch my videos that still work there and that used to work there, they know who I'm talking about. He's still one of my best homies to this day. He's like my white brother. But anyway, COM that I'm talking about was a pretty weird dude. I don't know how else to put it. The dude, like, his style was like he was like stuck into like the 60s or 70s or something. Like he parted his hair in the middle and had kind of like this feathered looking weird hair. And so like he used to kind of get picked on by some of the other COs. And let me make it clear, I've never been one to bully or pick on people, and I don't like people that do it. But a lot of the COs like to mess with this dude and like I said, tease him. And they called him Norman Bates because the dude was like in his mid to late 40s, still lived at home with his mommy, and I don't think he even had a girlfriend either. So, they would ask him stuff at the beginning of the shift, during briefing, like, hey, did your mommy help you get ready for work today? Because you look really handsome. And then they'd be like, she combed your hair real nice too. And so, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I laughed pretty hard a few times, but I would try to, like, kind of hide it, like, kind of, like, you know, so he didn't, see that I was laughing at him too hard. And I used to tell these other dudes, man, um, I'm not trying to get on this dude's kill list because for real, this dude had a list of people that he kept on a little notebook that he carried in his chest pocket. And, he said those are the people that he wanted to kill. He said if he ever got fired or if he quit, he was going to come back and kill the people on his list. And dude was a total gun nut. All he ever talked about was how he had all these guns buried in the desert, somewhere because the government was trying to make them illegal and all that stuff. So, I used to tell them guys, like, you guys can have fun teasing that guy if you want, but when he shows up outside in the parking lot one day and smokes all of you, I'm going to be like, yep, I'm glad I never picked on him. But, I guess they just were having too much fun. So, they were like, they didn't listen. But I did get stuck working with this guy one night. He was the pod officer for one of the lockdown housing units. And, I was assigned to a suicide watch in his pod. So I was pretty much stuck in there talking to this guy, and I tried to be cool with him and make a normal conversation with him. Because when you're assigned to a suicide watch, you're sitting in a chair in front of one cell with the food trap open, so you can constantly keep a visual on the inmate, and you're basically stuck there. You can't leave for anything unless another CO comes and relieves you, because they're worried the individual's gonna harm themselves. But anyway, so I tried to be cool with him and make normal conversation with him, but all he wanted to talk about was his guns that were buried in the desert and all this nonsense, and then he told me how he used to do loss prevention at a retail store and how he used to pick up on all the female employees that worked there. So I was like, oh, really? So you got game, huh? I said, you're a player. And he literally said, no, I used to look through their personnel files and get their phone numbers, and then I would just call them. I was like, what? I was like, wait, so how do you explain to them how you got their number when you called them? And I swear his answer was, oh, I only called the single ones. So I'm just like, okay, dude, whatever. Because I didn't want to get on this dude's list. So I was like, all right, cool. So anyway, my homie DG, or Fat Burrito, was one of the guys who really loved to tease this guy. I mean, every chance he got, man, he would mess with this guy and was always telling him stuff. So one night, these two got stuck working together. And, they were both in 900 segregation unit. I think it was Romeo and Sierra Pod right next to each other. So, when you're working next to each other in a lockdown unit like that, for count, after you count your own pod, you got to switch with the CO next door and verify each other's counts. So we all knew it was going to be trouble that night. So, myself and a couple other COs, we tried to get either one of them to switch out with us, so they wouldn't have to work together. But they were both being stubborn. They weren't having it. I guess they wanted to have it out, or neither one of them wanted to back down, so they were talking crap to each other throughout the night. DG was calling him a weird ass freaking mama's boy. And, COM wasn't taking his stuff. He was calling him a fat, stupid piece of shit and stuff like that. So sometime during the night, I don't remember exactly what time it happened, maybe like between 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. They really got into it. So during this argument, DG got really mad and he grabbed his crotch area and told COM to suck his mother effing dizzle. You know what I mean? And so keep in mind when he did this, he had his back towards the camera that's at the entrance to the pod when he did this. It's an important fact because later, COM, for whatever reason, would claim that DG actually pulled out his junk and like waved it at him when he said this. And the messed up thing is that pretty much immediately after this happened, DG was put under investigation because of, you know, what COM claimed. So for whatever reason, a couple of inmates in the pod stated that, you know, they backed up COM's story that he did pull out his junk, you know, but of course, you know, not saying all inmates are liars, but a good majority of them will say whatever they needed to say to get a CO in trouble. So they, you know, they said what they needed to say to get DG in trouble because of the fact that he liked to tease them a lot. He liked to mess with the inmates. So, you know, I don't know if that was the reason, but came back to bite him in the ass, you know. But so it was the word of the three people versus one. So DG actually ended up eventually getting terminated for this. Yeah. And so when I finally got the full story out of him and he told me why they terminated him, I was like, yo, what the fuck, bro? I was like, dude, please tell me there's no chance you really pulled your wiener out, dude. And he was like, bro, no, hell no, come on. But he was like, you know, these two inmates lied for him, you know, for whatever reason. They backed him up, you know. So I felt bad for the young homie, but you know, I couldn't keep from laughing because it was so crazy and you know, funny, you know. And you know, I even told him, man, those two inmates probably lied for him because they can't stand your ass, you know, because you were always talking crap to them and always like messing with them, you know. But you know, he's all right. He ended up getting a job back at one of the mines, you know, like the area he came from, and like a lot of the dudes that came from that town were miners previously, and some of them went back to that, you know, so they make good money doing that. But you know, it's dangerous. But being a CO is dangerous too. So it's from one dangerous job back to another dangerous job, you know. So anyway, let's skip ahead a few months forward to what ended up happening to COM, you know, the other individual involved, you know. So like I said before, I'm no bully and I hate bullies, but this dude was a freaking weirdo, man. Like no way else to put it. And he ended up proving it. Dude was a heavy smoker, and one night he was throwing a hissy fit because no one would relieve him for a smoke break. He was working 900 unit control, which, like I stated before, is one of our segregation lockdown units. So when the shift captain came through to sign all the paperwork, you know, which hangs next to like every cell in the segregation pods, supervisors got to come through there and sign off every night. You know, COM, he started bugging the captain about a smoke break, and the captain stated to him there was no one available to relieve him for a smoke break. We were really short-staffed that night, just, you know, like we usually were, but I guess more than usual. So after the captain signed the paperwork in all four 900 segregation pods, he approached the sally port doors to exit the unit. And you know, COM, he'd been harassing him like through every pod, man. He was on the intercom, he was like bugging the captain, just sweating him, you know. So he asked him, when the captain was trying to exit the unit, he asked the captain again, are you going to call somebody to come relieve me for a smoke break? And, you know, the captain replied, there's no one available. I already told you. He then told the captain, well, then you're gonna have to give me a smoke break. Like kind of like forcefully, he told him, like he was basically like giving him an order. So the captain told him, I don't have time to give you a damn smoke break. Now let me out. So, the captain at first, he tried to exit through the side. There's like a side exit door on the pods that lets you out right to the hallway, but he wouldn't open it. So then the captain walked up to the sally port, which is it's like a circle, and there's like three doors. Like two of them go into the pods, and then one door goes out into the hallway. So he walked up to the sally port, and then he said to the captain again. He said, "Are you gonna give me a fucking smoke break or not?" And we could hear it because the intercoms are pretty loud, so we could hear it in the pods next door that we were in. And so like the captain told him again, I don't have time to give you a smoke break. Now let me into the sally port. So he let the sally port in. I mean, he let the captain into the sally port, you know. But then when the captain tried to exit the sally port, he wouldn't open the door. He wouldn't let him out. He kept telling him on the intercom, "I'm not." He said, "I'm not letting you out of the sally port until until you call somebody to come give me a smoke break." So we could hear all the conversation from from inside segregation pods because they were both yelling. Like at this point, they were yelling, and the captain yelled back, "You need to let me out to the damn hallway now, CO. That's a direct order from your captain." And COM repeated again, "You're not fucking going anywhere till I get relief from my smoke break." So the captain then called main control on his radio and told them to override the outside door to 900 Tango uniform Sallyport. So, so main control did an override. They took control and they let him out. So the next part, I don't have like all the full details because I was in one of the pods. So this is what was told to me by a couple other COs. I think what happened was the captain called for a sergeant or lieutenant to meet him in 900 control and relieve COM of his duties. And he was going to be escorted out of the facility and off property immediately. So basically, he was going to get fired, like pretty much immediately. So when the sergeant or lieutenant arrived, they called main control for 900 control door, but COM tried to hang on to the door to keep them from coming in. So main control opened the door to the control, but he was hanging on to it, trying not to let them in. So I guess he changed his mind. He didn't want his smoke break after all. So, so from what I was told, they told him they were calling Florence PD to either come in and escort him like forcefully out of the prison, or just to escort him off the out of the parking lot off property. So from what I was told, that's pretty much what happened. And I do know for a fact that he basically got fired immediately after that, for that crazy ass behavior. And like I stated before, he was like a total gun nut. Supposedly had all these assault rifles and sniper rifles and stuff. So we all pretty much started teasing the captain that he just, moved to the number one spot on COM's kill list. And we kept saying he was going to be hiding in the empty field across from the jail, camouflaged, like wearing a ghillie suit, for people to know what that is, like totally camouflaged, like wearing one of those things the snipers wear, and laying down in the field, waiting for him. And we said we were all going to walk on one side and let the captain walk by himself, so we wouldn't get caught in the fire, the crossfire. And we told the captain, hey man, the last thing you're gonna see is that little red dot on your chest, sir. You know, and he was like, man, that's, you guys are messed up. That's not funny, you know. So for the next couple of months, no one would walk next to the captain on their way out. Mostly just, you know, we would tease him, but you know, some of us did think there was a chance, you know, that he might really do it. But you know, luckily, he never did follow through on his kill list. Maybe chickened out, or maybe he got locked up. I don't know. Or maybe he found a girlfriend. Hopefully, you know, that would be the best case scenario. And so maybe his interest went somewhere else. But anyway, that's another one of my crazy prison stories. You know, this one was CO drama. But anyways, take care of yourselves, and you know, take care of each other. And that's it for now. Your homie, Big Cisco. Peace.